The auditor noticed a $50,000 transfer and looked scared. Mr. Hayes, your business partner's wife shares an account with your blood brother's wife. My name is William Hayes, and I'm 53 years old. I need to tell you about my blood brother, Marcus Chun. He's 47 now, 6 years younger than me. But for most of our lives, that age gap never mattered. We grew up together in the same neighborhood in Sacramento. Our mothers were best friends. So Marcus and I were raised more like brothers and neighbors. I changed his diapers when I was 6. I taught him to ride a bike. I beat up the kids who bullied him in middle school. When my father died when I was 15, Marcus's family took me in for months while my mother worked double shifts to keep us afloat. We weren't related by blood, but we were brothers in every way that mattered. I joined the army at 18, did 2 tours in Iraq, then another in Afghanistan, came home at 26 with a head full of training and a burning need to do something that mattered. Marcus had just graduated from college with a degree in computer science. He was brilliant with technology, could make systems dance in ways that seemed like magic. I had the military experience, the discipline, the understanding of security and threat assessment. Together, we had everything we needed. We started Hayes Chin Security Consulting when I was 27 and Marcus was 21. I put up the initial capital from my military savings. Marcus brought the technical expertise. We worked out my garage, living on ramen and ambition, building our reputation one client at a time. It was hard those first few years. There were months when we couldn't pay ourselves, when we survived on nothing but determination and the absolute certainty that we were building something important. But we made it work. Year by year, client by client, we grew. By the time I was 40 and Marcus was 34, we had offices in 3 cities, 43 employees, and annual revenue pushing $8 million. We'd made it. Everything we'd dreamed about in that garage had come true. Marcus married Jennifer when he was 31. She was a pediatric nurse, sweet and gentle, the kind of woman who brought home injured birds and nursed them back to health. She was perfect for Marcus, who'd always been more sensitive than me, more open with his emotions. I was happy for him. Stood up as his best man at their wedding, gave a speech about how he was finally getting the sister I'd always wished I had. I met Sarah 2 years later, when I was 43 and Marcus was 37. She was a corporate lawyer, brilliant and driven, with dark hair and green eyes that could cut right through your defenses. We met at a security conference in Seattle. She approached me after my panel discussion, asked intelligent questions about threat assessment protocols, and by the end of the night, I knew I was going to marry her. We got married 6 months later in a small ceremony in Napa Valley. Marcus stood up as my best man, returned the favor I'd done for him. Jennifer was Sarah's maid of honor. The 4 of us bound together. Family. That was 8 years ago. For 8 years, I thought I knew exactly who these people were. I thought I understood my life. I was wrong. The quarterly audit happened on a Tuesday in March. Patricia Valdez had been our accountant for 6 years, handling our books with the kind of meticulous precision that let Marcus and me focus on running the business instead of drowning in financial paperwork. She was in her 50s, professional and unflappable, the type of person who treated numbers like sacred texts. In 6 years, I'd never seen her show surprise or alarm. That's why I noticed immediately when her face went white. We were in the conference room on the 3rd floor. Marcus had stepped out to take a call from a potential client in Houston. I was half listening to Patricia's usual commentary about expense ratios and cash flow, responding to emails on my phone, when she suddenly went silent. I looked up. She was staring at her laptop screen, like it had just shown her footage of a murder. Her hand was frozen on the mouse. Her jaw was clenched so tight I could see the muscle jumping. "Patricia?" I said. She didn't respond, just kept staring. Then she glanced at me, back at the screen, at me again. When she finally spoke, her voice was careful, measured, like she was navigating a minefield. "Mr. Hayes," she said quietly, "I need to show you something." Privately, through the glass walls of the conference room, I could see Marcus in his office across the hall, laughing at something on his phone. My little brother, the kid I protected his whole life. Everything looked normal. Everything felt wrong. What is it? I asked. Patricia glanced at the door. Is Marcus coming back soon? He's on a call. What's going on? She turned her laptop toward me. I was reconciling our business accounts when I found an irregularity. There's a transfer here from 6 weeks ago. $50,000 from our primary operating account to a personal account. She highlighted the transaction. $50,000 transferred to an account registered under Jennifer Chen's name. Marcus's wife? I said, why would we be transferring money to Jennifer? That's what I thought, Patricia said. She opened another window. So I pulled up the complete account details. She scrolled to the account holder information. Mr. Hayes, this is a joint personal account. It was opened 16 months ago. It has 2 authorized users. She highlighted the names. Jennifer Chun, Sarah Hayes. I stared at the screen. My brain started processing the information the way I'd been trained. Compartmentalizing, analyzing, looking for alternate explanations. But there was a ringing in my ears, like the aftermath of an IED blast. Like everything around me had just exploded, and I was still trying to figure out what had been destroyed. That doesn't make sense, I said. My voice was steady, controlled. Why would Sarah and Jennifer have a joint account? Patricia's expression told me she'd already worked through the possibilities and arrived at a conclusion she didn't want to share. Mr. Hayes, I need to show you the transaction history. She pulled up months of records, hotel charges, expensive restaurants, airline tickets to Miami, to San Diego, to Las Vegas, jewelry purchases, boutique clothing stores, wine bars and spa resorts, and transfers, regular transfers from our business accounts into this personal account. $5,000 here, $10,000 there, once $23,000 in a single transaction. The account had been active for 16 months. The pattern was unmistakable. 2 people living a secret life, an expensive secret life, funded by money stolen from the company Marcus and I had built together. How much total? I asked. Patricia had clearly already calculated it. Including the $50,000 from last month, approximately $217,000 has been transferred from business accounts to this personal account over 16 months. $217,000. I thought about our last board meeting, where Marcus had argued we needed to delay employee bonuses because cash flow was tight. I thought about the vacation Sarah said we couldn't afford last summer. I thought about how completely, utterly blind I'd been. Mr. Hayes, Patricia said softly, I'm required to report financial irregularities to both partners, but I wanted you to see this first. She was giving me a gift, this private moment to process before the confrontation became inevitable. I looked at her and saw genuine concern in her face, maybe even pity. I need you to do something for me, I said. My voice was clinical, detached. Pull every transaction between our business accounts and this personal account. Every single one. Document everything. Print it, PDF it, send it all to my personal email, not my business email. Of course. And Patricia, don't mention this to Marcus yet. Tell him everything looks fine with the audit. Give me 24 hours. She hesitated, then nodded. You'll have the documentation within the hour. Thank you. I stood up, walked out of the conference room. Across the hall, Marcus looked up from his phone and grinned at me. That familiar grin I'd seen 10,000 times since we were kids. My little brother. The person I'd trusted more than anyone in the world. I smiled back. Just another Tuesday at the office. I told my assistant I had a migraine and left early. Drove home in a fog. My mind already working through scenarios, calculating probabilities. By the time I pulled into my driveway, Patricia's email was waiting. 3 PDF attachments and a note. I'm so sorry, Mr. Hayes. Sarah's car was in the garage. I found her in the kitchen, making dinner, humming along to music on her phone. She looked up when I walked in and smiled. You're home early. Everything okay? Not feeling great, I said. Might be coming down with something. She came over, touched her hand to my forehead. Concerned, caring, the perfect wife. You do feel warm. Go rest. I'll bring you soup. I went upstairs, closed our bedroom door, and sat on the edge of the bed with my phone. Opened Patricia's files and started reading. Every transaction, every date, every stolen dollar. I cross-referenced them with Sarah's calendar, the one we shared for coordinating schedules. The $8,200 jewelry purchase was dated February 14th of last year, Valentine's Day. Sarah had told me she was working late on a difficult case. She'd come home after midnight with apologies and explanations. I'd believed her. Why wouldn't I? The Miami airline tickets were for a weekend in September when Sarah told me she was at a legal conference in Boston. I'd stayed home, worked on proposals, ordered takeout. Meanwhile, my wife was in Florida with my baby brother, living it up in a 5-star hotel on money stolen from our company. Every lie documented, every betrayal itemized and time-stamped. I should have felt rage, devastation, but all I felt was cold, mission-focused. I had incomplete intelligence. I needed more data. I waited until Sarah was asleep. She brought me soup, tucked me in, kissed my forehead. Such a devoted wife. I watched her breathing slow, watched her settle into sleep, then got up and took her phone into the bathroom. I knew her passcode. We'd always been transparent. No secrets. What a joke. The messages with Marcus went back almost 2 years. Thousands of them. At first they'd been careful, coded, meeting to discuss the project, going over proposal. But after a few months they'd gotten comfortable, sloppy, confident I'd never find out. I scrolled through it all, taking screenshots with steady hands. Photos of them together at restaurants, hotels, in bed. Videos I saved without watching. Conversations about how boring I was, how rigid, how emotionally distant. How Marcus made her feel things I never could. How they were planning their future together once they figured out how to handle the divorces without losing too much money. Planning their future. This wasn't just an affair. This was a complete alternate reality, and I was the obstacle they were trying to figure out how to remove. There was a message from 3 days ago. Marcus, Jennifer's asking questions. Where I go, why I'm always busy. We might need to cool it. Sarah, William never asks anything. Sometimes I think I could disappear, and he wouldn't notice for days. Marcus, his loss, my gain. Sarah, I love you. Marcus, love you too. Friday night? Same hotel? Sarah, I'll tell him I'm preparing for trial. He never checks. I sat on the bathroom floor, reading 2 years of my wife planning a life with my brother, the brother I'd raised, protected, built a company with. The symmetry was almost perfect in its cruelty. I uploaded everything to an encrypted cloud drive, sent copies to 3 different email addresses, texted my attorney at 3 in the morning. Need to see you first thing tomorrow. Urgent. Divorce and business matter. I didn't sleep. I sat in my office and pulled our financial records. Our joint savings had been slowly drained. Small amounts, carefully taken. Sarah had been stealing from our marriage to fund her affair with Marcus. I checked her car's GPS history, cross-referenced the locations with her calendar. Every late night, every business trip, every weekend with friends. All lies. The GPS showed hotels, Marcus's apartment, weekend resorts in wine country. By dawn, I had a complete picture. Every piece of evidence documented, archived, backed up in multiple locations. Enough to destroy them both in divorce court and potentially criminal court. I made coffee. Sarah came down at 7, dressed for work in a sharp gray suit. She kissed my cheek. Feeling better? Much better, I said. I've been thinking we should take a trip. Just us. Get away for a weekend. I watched panic flicker across her face before she covered it with a smile. That sounds nice. When? Maybe next month. I'll plan everything. Okay. Relief. Next month. Plenty of time to make excuses. I'd like that. She left. I called my attorney. Gerald Morrison had handled our business legal work for years. Former JAG officer, understood military loyalty and the bonds between soldiers. When I walked into his office that morning and laid out everything I'd found, he listened without interruption. Then he reviewed the evidence. This is extremely thorough, he said. I had good training. The embezzlement is clear-cut. $217,000 from business accounts to a personal account shared by your wife and your business partner's wife, but primarily used by your wife and your business partner. That's felony theft. We can press criminal charges. What would that accomplish? Marcus would face felony charges. Jail time, restitution, loss of professional licenses. Jennifer might face charges too, depending on her involvement. Jennifer doesn't know, I said. I've been through the messages. They kept this from both of us. Gerald nodded. Then we focus on Marcus and Sarah. For the business, you can force a buyout, dissolve the partnership, or pursue damages. For the divorce, with this evidence, we can file for fault-based divorce on adultery grounds. That affects property division and eliminates alimony. I want them both to understand what they've done, I said. I want consequences that matter. We spent 3 hours building strategy. Dissolution documents for the business. Divorce papers. Demand letters giving narrow windows to comply before criminal prosecution. Everything designed to give me maximum leverage. When do you want to move? Gerald asked. Today. This afternoon. Both of them present together. I want them to see each other's faces when they realize they've been caught. By 2 that afternoon, everything was ready. I texted Marcus. Need you in the office. Conference room. 4 o'clock. Important. Then called Sarah. Can you come to my office at 4? Need to discuss something about business and finances. They both confirmed. Neither suspected anything. I called Jennifer separately. Jennifer, I need you to come to the office this afternoon. 4 o'clock. It's about Marcus and the business. Please don't tell him I called. She was confused but agreed. I could hear the worry in her voice. At 3:30, I was sitting in the conference room with Gerald. Documents organized on the table. Laptop ready. I was completely calm. This was just another mission. Execute the plan. Accomplish the objective. Marcus arrived first, walking in with his usual easy confidence. He saw Gerald and frowned. What's going on? Why is our lawyer here? Sit down, I said. We're waiting for Sarah and Jennifer. Jennifer? What does she have to do with anything? You'll see. Sarah arrived next. She looked professional and composed until she saw Marcus, saw Gerald, saw the documents. Then her face went pale. Her eyes went to Marcus, then to me, then to the floor. William, she started. Sit. Jennifer was last. She came in looking frightened and confused. When she saw all of us, she stopped in the doorway. What's happening? Come in, Jennifer, I said. Close the door. Sit down. She sat next to Sarah. Marcus was across from them. I was at the head of the table. Gerald to my right. Like a courtroom. Gerald, I said, show them what we found. Gerald projected the laptop screen on the wall. The joint bank account. The $50,000 transfer. Then the complete transaction history. Every hotel, every restaurant, every stolen dollar. Jennifer made a sound like she'd been gut-punched. She turned to Marcus. What is this? Marcus was staring at the screen like he could make it disappear through willpower alone. I can explain. Don't, I said. My voice was flat, cold. Don't insult anyone here by lying. I have 2 years of text messages between you and my wife. I have GPS data from Sarah's car showing she was at your apartment dozens of times when she told me she was working late. I have credit card statements, hotel receipts, photographs, videos. Don't lie, Marcus. Sarah was crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. William, please, let me explain. There's nothing to explain, I said. You've been having an affair with my brother for almost 2 years. You've been stealing money from our marriage to fund it. You've been lying to me every single day. Those are facts. There's nothing to explain. It wasn't supposed to happen like this, she whispered. How was it supposed to happen? Were you planning to tell me? Or just keep stealing and lying until you figure out how to leave without consequences? She looked at Marcus. He wouldn't meet her eyes. I turned to Jennifer. I'm sorry you're finding out this way. You deserve better. They used accounts in your name to hide what they were doing. You were victimized just like I was. Jennifer was staring at Marcus with complete devastation on her face. How long? She whispered. Marcus said nothing. Almost 2 years, I said. According to the messages, it started at the company retreat in Lake Tahoe. Jennifer closed her eyes. I remember that retreat. The four of us, renting a cabin, hiking, drinking wine by the fire, watching Marcus and Sarah laugh together, and thinking how great it was that our family got along so well. How stupid I'd been. Gerald slid documents across the table. These are for you, Mr. Chun. Partnership dissolution agreement and buyout offer. You have 48 hours to accept the terms. Mr. Hayes is offering you the option to buy out his share of the company at 20% above market value. If you refuse, he will dissolve the partnership, file criminal embezzlement charges, and pursue full damages in civil court. I should mention Mr. Hayes has already contacted your 3 largest clients. They've indicated they'll only continue working with the company if Mr. Hayes remains involved. Without him, you'll lose approximately 65% of your current revenue. Marcus took the papers with shaking hands. You can't do this, Will. We're brothers. We're brothers, I said. You stopped being my brother when you started fucking my wife and stealing from our company. You're a thief and a liar. That's what you are. I turned to Sarah. Gerald slid more documents across the table. Divorce papers. Fault-based adultery. I'm offering you one option. Sign an agreement waiving all claims to alimony, accepting minimal division of marital assets. You get your car, your personal belongings, nothing else. You have 72 hours to accept. If you refuse, we go to court with all the evidence. You'll lose everything anyway and spend a fortune on legal fees and process. Sarah was sobbing. William, please. I love you. It was a mistake. You don't love me, I said. My voice was even, emotionless. You said, so yourself in the messages. I'm boring, rigid, emotionally distant. Marcus makes you feel alive in ways I never did. So no, you don't love me. You love what I provided. The house, the stability, the life. But you don't love me, and I sure as hell don't love you anymore. I don't think I ever really knew you. We can fix this, she said desperately. We can go to therapy. No, I said. I stood up. We're done. You have your options. Gerald will be in touch regarding the details. Jennifer, I'm sorry you had to be here for this. If you need anything, call me. Jennifer was still staring at Marcus, tears running down her face. She said nothing. I walked out, didn't look back, walked past my employees who had no idea what had just happened, got in my car, and drove to a hotel downtown. Checked in, sat on the edge of the bed, and finally, for the first time since Patricia had shown me that bank account, I let myself feel it. The grief was massive, not just for the marriage, but for Marcus, for my little brother. The kid I'd raised, protected, taught everything I knew. I'd saved him from bullies. I'd given him opportunities. I'd built a company with him. And he'd repaid me by taking my wife and stealing from the business we'd built together. I ordered room service and couldn't eat it. Turned on the television and didn't watch it. Sat in that anonymous hotel room trying to process that my entire life had been a performance, and I'd been the only one who didn't know the script. Jennifer filed for divorce 3 days later. She called me first. I went through everything, she said. Her voice was hollow. His phone, email, bank records. There were others before Sarah. At least 2 I can find evidence of. He's been cheating on me our entire marriage. I'm sorry, Jennifer. I'm taking him for everything, she said. My lawyer says I have grounds for fraud. I'm going to make sure he understands what he did. Good. Marcus signed the buyout agreement 46 hours after the deadline. He had to take out a massive loan, leveraging the business as collateral. I used the money to start Hayes Security Solutions, hired away 3 of our best analysts and 2 top salespeople. They all jumped at the chance. Apparently Marcus had been difficult to work with, prone to outbursts, playing favorites. Without me there to smooth things over, the culture was toxic. My new company launched 6 weeks after I left. My first 3 clients were the ones who told Marcus they'd only work with me. Within 4 months, we landed 7 more contracts. Marcus's company hemorrhaged employees and clients. Word got out about the embezzlement and affair. No one wanted to work with a man who betrayed his brother and steal from their company. His company collapsed within 8 months. Marcus filed for bankruptcy. Lost everything. His house, his cars, his reputation. The divorce settlement with Jennifer took what little remained. Sarah tried to contest the divorce. Spent nearly $40,000 on a lawyer who told her exactly what Gerald had said. She had no case. The evidence was overwhelming. She signed the papers 10 weeks after I'd walked out. I gave her a week to move out of the house. Changed the locks the day she left. The divorce was finalized on a Thursday in November. I was in my new office when my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. I blocked both Marcus and Sarah months earlier. It was long. Paragraphs of apologies and explanations. How the affair just happened. How she'd never meant to hurt me. How she'd been confused and Marcus had been there when I wasn't. How she hoped someday I could forgive her. I read it once. Deleted it. Blocked the number. Marcus tried to reach out once. An email with the subject line brother. I deleted it without opening it. He'd forfeited the right to call me brother when he decided to betray everything we'd built together. I spent a year in therapy. Dr. Patel helped me work through the anger and grief and sense of betrayal. We talked about trust and vulnerability and the difference between being controlled and being cold. You were betrayed by the person you trusted most, she told me. The brother you raised. That's profound trauma. But you handled it the way you were trained, by focusing on the mission. There's nothing wrong with that. It kept you functional. But maybe if I'd been more emotional, more open, Sarah wouldn't have cheated. I said, people don't cheat because their partners aren't emotional enough. Dr. Patel said, people cheat because they make selfish choices. That's not about you. That's about them. It took time to believe that, but eventually I did. I'm 53 now. It's been 2 years since Patricia showed me that bank account and my world exploded. Hayes Security Solutions is thriving. 22 employees, major corporate contracts, a reputation for excellence and integrity. I work hard, but I also take time off. I got a dog, a German shepherd named Tango, who comes to work with me. I go on dates sometimes. Met a woman named Claire, a trauma surgeon who understands high-stakes decisions and the weight of responsibility. We've been on a few dates. I'm not rushing into anything. Learning to trust again, slowly. Sometimes I drive past the house Sarah and I shared. She had to sell it after the divorce. Couldn't afford a loan. I don't feel anything when I see it now. No anger, no sadness. It's just a house. The life I thought I was living there never existed. I saw Jennifer a few months ago. Ran into her at a coffee shop. She looked good, healthy. She'd started her own healthcare consulting business. It was going well. How are you? I asked. Really okay, she said. You? Also okay. Company's doing well. I heard. One of my clients uses your security services. They say you're the best. We talked for a few minutes. Easy. Comfortable. 2 people who'd survived the same disaster. Before she left, she touched my arm. Thank you, she said, for that day in the conference room. You could have told me privately, but you made them face what they'd done. Together, that mattered. You deserve to know the truth. So did you. I've learned that you can survive losing everything as long as you don't lose yourself. I've learned that being alone is better than being with people who make you feel alone. I've learned that facts don't lie, but people do. Trust the evidence. Trust what people do, not what they say. I've learned that betrayal is a choice. Marcus chose to betray me every single day for 2 years. Sarah chose to betray me. They made those choices knowing exactly what they were doing. That wasn't about who I was or wasn't. That was about who they were. Patricia still does my books. Last month she told me she was proud of how I handled everything. Most people would have fallen apart, she said. I had good training. In the Army, they taught me the most dangerous enemy is the one you don't see coming. The one who looks like family. They were right. I'm doing well now. Better than well. I sleep through the night. I laugh. I'm building something real. Something that's mine. And if I've learned anything, it's this. The truth will destroy you, but lies will hollow you out until there's nothing left. I chose destruction. I chose to burn it all down and build something new from ashes. My name is William Hayes. I'm 53 years old. I survived a war. I survived betrayal by the brother I raised. And I'm still here, still standing, still building something worth having. That's my story. Not the one I thought I was living, but the real one, the true one, the one where I learned that the only person you can truly count on is yourself. And sometimes that's enough. Please like, comment, and share. If this is your first time watching my video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified whenever I post a new story.